What's the good word, Josh? Your boy DKB here. In our everlasting search for offensive linemen to put together the best line we can for the New York Jets in the 2024 season, I think it's worth pointing out any and everybody that happens to catch any of our coaches' attention. And as you guys know, we had a couple of our coaches at the Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl. For the Shrine Bowl specifically, we had Ben Wilkerson, who's our assistant offensive line coach. He played the same position for the Shrine Bowl, and when he was going through some of the interviews as things were wrapping up and all of that, he took a chance unsolicited to promote a couple of the guys that really caught his attention, and Walter Rouse was a name that stuck out to him as a player that came in, immediately was able to solidify he's one of the best tackles at that event, and then of course captured a starting job as the first team left tackle and pretty much ran away with things not only during practice but heading into the game week. So I had to take a quick dive into who Walter Rouse is, and he'll end up being a part of my scouting breakdown series at some point, so I'm not going to go super in depth in terms of skill sets and everything like that, but still high level overview, you still get really excited about this particular player. 5-year collegiate, 4 years at Stanford. He's only the second tackle in this millennium to start as a freshman for Stanford, which in and of itself lets you know how highly thought of he was. The character for this guy is off the board, right? One of the main call-outs from everybody during the Shrine Bowl, you don't hear about the off-field characteristics and stuff, but he was playing with some of the children from the, I don't think it was a volunteer event, but basically for some kind of community service type effort. He highlighted that himself a number of times in the benefits, how that benefits him, how he really loves to give back. So you love everything from a character standpoint with this guy. I haven't heard a single bad word, and generally when people are looking to give him his big ups, they start with the character aspect, and generally that would be a small red flag for me, right? Because people are so hyped about, athletic profile and traits and this, that, and the third, that kind of seems like a secondary trait. But in this case, it's definitely one of his best characteristics just overall, right? As part of who he is as a player. You take a look at his 4 years there, still comes out a little bit raw, right? He wanted to make sure he can give himself the best chances in the NFL draft this year. He ends up transferring to Oklahoma to become a Sooner in 2023, and it paid off huge, right? You're talking about him going to being coached under one of the most legendary offensive line coaches in college football, Bill Bedenbaugh. And he did numbers pretty much right away, right? In terms of kind of evolving his game, turning him into one of the better technicians that you may find in day 2 to day 3. Ended up as the top lineman for the Sooners by the time the season was over. Highest rated run blocker for them. And he only allowed 6 pressures in over 450 pass blocking opportunities. So generally, from a traits standpoint, a lot of people are going to talk about his smooth pass sets and really what he offers there. Ended up getting a combine event, which in and of itself lets you know that generally the NFL seems to think that this is a guy that can make out a career in the NFL. But to go back into some of Ben Wilkerson's comments real quick, just paraphrasing but highlighting, essentially when it came to a guy like Walter Rouse, Ben Wilkerson was saying this is a guy that's going to have a lengthy career in the NFL. It doesn't matter if he ends up becoming a Hall of Fame type guy. This is one of those prototypical, 5 to 12 year type guys that they can just come in, find a role, and they'll be successful with what they're asked to do, right? You take a look at, a lot of those secondary traits that you're going to love. Smart, biomechanical engineer when he was as his major when he was at Stanford. He has the 6'6", 320-pound frame. So you're not talking about a guy that's going to be short on a lot of those physical traits teams are going to love. And he has over 50 starts at left tackle, which is something you love to see. Talking about his progression arc here, he came in before getting to Oklahoma as probably being a priority undrafted free agent. Again, working with Bill Bedenbaugh, he was able to go out there and right now you'll probably see him projected in like the 4th round area. I've seen a couple mock drafts where he's being taken in the 3rd round. So this isn't a snub by any means anymore. His floor probably going to be a swing tackle for a long time for any teams. But if he, and I won't call this overachieving, but if he can outplay his projected draft rankings, you're talking about a guy that's going to be I won't say outstanding, but he'll be an adequate to above average starting blindside protector for some team that happens to have hit, a mid to late round gem, which is what the New York Jets should be looking for. So for a lot of the guys that weren't expecting a Carter Warren type guy last year, I would say this is kind of in the same vein of things. Walter Rouse, if we were to take him in the 3rd or 4th, would essentially be your Carter Warren for the 2024 NFL draft. And if anything, his upside and his current ability may be a little bit better than what we've seen out of Carter Warren coming into us. But nonetheless, I'll leave it there. Again, he will end up on one of my lists for my scouting breakdowns. But let me know what you guys ultimately think, and I'll catch you guys again. Peace.